this company was started already in 1891. In the 1860s, they started to build the railways in Sweden. And as this was a place, all the water was short here, and you had to cross this place, Sodertalje, to get from Stockholm down to the south or to the west. And so all the railway lines were linked up here. And there were some guys, and you can see them sitting on the vehicle up there. These guys, they were from the steelworks inland of Sweden, and they were forging wheels and shafts for railway carriages. The wheels there, and they wanted to further integrate their business into making railway carriages. But they realized they can't be in the forest; it doesn't work. So they wanted to come here because you had the railway line, and you can see there is a picture down behind this policeman. You can see, and that is the back there. You can see the head office of the Scania at that time. So this was the road we were traveling on when you came here, actually. So that was the railway. Now they started in 1891 to build a factory, and you can see on the wall out there on the left picture, that is the first Scania factory that was built here, sort of shortly after 1891. Now this is the first vehicle. This is not the one. This is a replica of the real one. But on the picture there you have the same. The first one sitting with the owners and the designer of the vehicle. He's sitting driving it.
By the way,
Yeah.
where did you get the name Scania?
I will tell you. Because the company here that started in 1891, it was called Vabis. Vabis. And that's an abbreviation. In Swedish, Vagnsaktiebolaget i Södertälje, Vabis. Then there was another company that was established in the south of Sweden. The southernmost region of Sweden is called Skåne in Swedish. But in Latin, the word Skåne is Scania. So this is the Scania factory in Malmö, where they started to make bicycles and cars, and they also made some trucks. But unlike the Vabis operation, they bought a lot of their parts. So I think when you see that picture, I think of an old Renault car from the very first, when they first made the cars. So I can imagine they bought the parts from the same manufacturers, and they only made the sort of assembly, and they were all chain-driven vehicles. Whereas Vabis had this sort of a robust construction. We all had prop shafts and real good stuff. This was more lighter vehicles, you could say. And they started with bicycles, and this is a very. I can just show you a little funny thing. Oops, sorry. You can see the hub here. That is the old brand of Scania. And then when that came into after the merger, it had Scania Vabis, the Scania Vabis emblem, and you can still, that is sort of a very well-known brand.
Logo.
Yeah, the logo.
Yeah.
Yes, which we had all the way up to. Oh, I can't remember. It's very late anyway. Yeah. So in 1911, these two companies merged. Right.
So that's where
So, yeah, okay.
1903, there's already
Well, I don't think, I think kerosene or something like it. It's not petrol, I think.
kerosene.
Yeah, because we didn't, at that time you didn't have petrol. It wasn't available.
So kerosene there is.
I think it's something like
So
that.
in 1903, there's already a motor vehicle already.
Yeah, motorbike, yeah.
Yeah, motorbike.
You can see, Vagnsaktiebolaget i Södertälje, Vabis. It's a tough thing. It didn't carry a lot of goods, but it was a good vehicle. You can see the wheels. It's a rough life for a driver in the 1902. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And this is also a Vabis, as you can see. 1903. So,
Laking.
right.
Release, paano ma-release?
Maliit ng karga. Tapos asan ang pang-drive?
Ito, accelerator.
Ito. Preno.
After the merger of Scania Vabis, they made some cars for quite some time, but then, as you can see, there is one here, very beautiful car, but they eventually stopped making cars. In 1925, they stopped making cars. However, this car was made in 1929 because they had some spare parts left in the store, so they built a very final car, and this is the one in 1929. After that, only trucks and buses.
Oh, so this is the last.
The very last, yes. Now, we really have two brands. One is the Scania, and the other brand is V8. Now, look at this. This is the very first V8 engine that was built already in 1916. Now, that wasn't sitting in a truck because it was too heavy for that, but it was set for a train where it was generating electricity to run the train. And as you can see, 1916, it was the time of the First World War. We didn't have any petrol in Sweden at that time, so this was run on alcohol.
Alcohol?
Yeah, but you could run it on petrol as well. As you can see, it's spark plugs. Yeah, so it's an auto engine.
B8, huh?
That's an V8, yes. The sort of classical, the first one. The engine is a typical industrial and marine engine. Yeah, because they always had this orange color. And it was a colossal, huge. It was the strongest European truck engine that you can have in Europe.
This one, strongest?
Well, it was, when it was introduced, it was about 480 horsepower. But when the first ones came out, they were a little even less than that. 2000, we started with the Euro 5 engines, and then 2016, Euro 5 and the Euro 6 engines.
Ito atin?
B-type,
That
sir.
is a 16-liter engine.
Huh?
On the previous line, nowadays, we can have, they are running up to 770 horsepower in a truck. But when sometimes I like to show you this vehicle on the wall there. Sometimes it's actually standing here. I'm afraid they changed it for a modern one. So that's the original one. And you can really feel that the Vabis, as it was at that. This was 1906? No, 1909. So it was, they were making very robust construction. You can just have a look at this simple technical solution. It worked, and they had a prop shaft, very sturdy things. And one interesting thing with this, they had the parking brake. When you're pulling parking brake, there was a pole at the back, just went down into the ground and just preventing it from going backwards. Simple solutions, but it worked. Whereas the Scania people in Malmö, they were making, as I told you, things that the material that they bought, and they were going with chain drive. So lightly. But together they were it was a good combination. But you can see what happened. That was 1909, 1927, and you can see they already had some rubber wheels.
Tires.
With tires, yes, with air and lights. And you can see the environment for the driver is improved greatly. With a windscreen and a wiper.
But this one has interior inside, not tubeless.
I don't think, no, it has a tube. A tube inside, yeah, I'm sure. You can see. And this one was made in, this came into operation in 1927. Only shortly after that, they introduced the bulldog nose. You know, when the cab was on top of the engine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the same thing with buses also. There is a bus standing here.
before the buses were like that.
Yes, they had the same thing like that.
The front engine.
Front, yes.
Front engine.
It's interesting to have a look at the interior here. The engine, of course, sticking up into the cab. And until now, of course, with the very high vehicles, with the Scania S cab on you can actually have the whole engine is below the floor, so you have a flat floor. Right, and there is a film going on in the back there because this vehicle has been renovated and it's running. You can run it, so it's operating. Yeah.
It's operating.
Yeah. Yes, you can run it. Yes, I think the indicator is quite nice. That's the way the indicators looked when I was a boy.
Diesel engine.
This is actually a diesel engine, but the original engine on this one is actually a petrol engine. So this was refitted when it was renovated with a diesel engine. Yeah. So
You put here the petrol.
I think that's cooling, the water
Water.
cooling. Yeah. So, okay, please come over to this side for a while.
Jeff, delayed yung sa Manila. Kasi ito, 1930 na, flat na. Yung sa Victory, yung 1945, yung long nose pa. Ba't ganun?
180.
Ba't ganun? Ba't nahuli-huli tayo?
You put the cab over the 1920s and the 1930s. It was very, very difficult times for most industries, also for Scania Vabis. And one way of surviving was that Scania Vabis was able to supply public and sort of institutional customers, like they were making vehicles for the armed forces and the postal office, postal service, and public demands like fire engines or like this. I have been spending about 17 years working with axle development myself, so I like this very much. You know what this is? This is a front wheel hub of a all-wheel drive fire engine from 1919. So you can imagine we were going all-wheel drive already just after the First World War.
This one is the 6x6.
That's the 6x6, yes. So, and I think it's interesting to know that in these tough years, we started to develop a number of different technologies that once the market was coming along after the Second World War, we had the products, we had the technology, so on.
So much to set up here the Second War.
Yeah.
First World War. Second.
The Second World War, yeah. Another important factor of the Scania Vabis was the see difficult to see, but there is a Volkswagen Beetle on the back there. Yeah, and so Scania Vabis were importing the Volkswagen cars into Sweden already since 1949. So there is a strong link between Scania Vabis and Volkswagen. And for instance, in the markets here in Scandinavia or in Sweden, all the dealers that were the workshops repairing the Scania vehicles, they also had the Volkswagen, both sales and service and repairs and so on in the same setup. 1911, and you see Thailand 1914. So we have a long history. But as I said, the volumes were very, very small. Only after the Second World War it started to boom. When I started with Scania, we were making about 30,000 trucks per year. And the biggest market was, I believe, Iraq, because it was a huge market at that time. Before, so it's a big development.
So do you also export to Australia?
Absolutely. Oh yes. Oh yes. The whole
mining industry.
Absolutely. Yes.
Close to 1,000 trucks.
Yeah.
For 300 buses.
Yes. And we are sometimes we're talking.
Who's older, Scania or Volvo?
Oh, Scania. Oh, yeah. Volvo is only in the 1920s or something. They are the youngsters.
Letter S, Volvo, letter V. S is-
So,